crud. Okay, you know what?
I'm not a child anymore, I'm an adult. I can buy my own insurance and everything. You can't be real.
Welcome to Fuzzy Walrus Industries, I'm Walcom S7, and today it's time for Tag Back, the show where every week we take a look at a blaster from the past, see what it could offer us today in the present, and this time, we're not even really looking at a blaster from the, it's a blaster, it's in the box, but we're looking at a thing that is also technically a blaster, but not a blaster in the sense that, anyway, we're talking about the Nerf N-Strike disc target shot thing. It's disc shot. The N-Strike disc shot. What is this thing? Well, it happens to be a gigantic flywheel-powered pre-vortex shooter thing that you plug into the wall, and you have like a little remote, and you press the button on the remote that's attached to a blaster, and it pops a target up in the air, and then you shoot it out of the air. And it's got like different angles it can shoot at, and different heights it can shoot at, and all that good stuff. And this is actually something you might not have seen even demonstrated before, because while the blaster was released in various types of lines, like the action set and probably some other things I can't think about, the remote that comes with this is a tiny N-Strike attachment that nobody really knows what it is unless they know what this thing is. And it's also tiny, and it gets lost, and was only available in this set. So it's not common to see these things actually working. And that's why I'm here, because I finally have the entire set. Didn't come in this box. This was something I thrifted recently on my trip with Captain Xavier. Actually, I was given the target set from one Commander of Cobra, which he swears he gave me the actual AC adapter for, which I couldn't find. I might have thrown it away not knowing what it was, which sucks, and I'm sure I could probably find another one that would work, but that's far too much effort. But the real kicker is, of course, you can never find the remote, and I was lucky because somebody in my Discord happened to say, hey, what is this? And I said, I will buy it from you. And they let me buy it from them for a very generous price, and I'm quite happy, and I thank them profusely, even though I don't remember their name. Sorry about that. The N-Strike disc shot helps you build your skills and train for the ultimate blaster mission. Advance through difficulty levels and prove your blasting expertise. Load them, launch them, and test your targeting speed, distance, and accuracy. Comes with 6 foam discs. This launcher has 3 challenging games, or really what it means is 3 different angles it can shoot at, 2 different height settings, and it holds up to 12 discs, even though it only comes with 6. It says that the discs are sold separately. I don't remember if they ever were. They may be sold separately in a different disc shot set. Comes with also a wireless remote. You control when discs launch. Infrared technology. Yes, that's been around for quite some time, Hasbro. It's not space age. And the blaster, it doesn't even actually say what the blaster is on this box. It just says blaster includes 6 micro darts. And then, if you look at the actual thing, it says it includes 1 N-Strike disc shot blaster, 6 foam discs, and 6 micro darts, the kind with the sticky heads on them. And then it advertises things like the Firefly, the long shot, which is all well and good, and that's the entire box. We don't really need the box, though. It's funny because it says disc shot blaster, but the official name for this thing is the Element EX-6, probably something like that. It holds 6 darts. It's basically a night finder in a cooler shell. One of my favorite pistols, I might add. I've never done anything with them because I don't know, I just haven't, but it's a very comfortable blaster, very compact, very squared off, which is something I happen to really like. And yes, it holds 6 darts for the 6 discs that come in the thing. So this might have been, I'm assuming it was actually the first time the Element was ever actually put in a box. I mean, this one doesn't even say Element on it, so it's probably the one from the disc shop, but like I said, that box only had the target in it. And speaking of target, here's the thing itself. It is massive. It is legitimately huge, and it is really freaking cool. And like I said, it is basically a flywheel-powered blaster. It's got 2 flywheels in it. It launches discs up in the air using those flywheels and like a little ratcheting thing on the bottom of it. It's really cool. It's got a spring-loaded arm in the back right here. That's how it holds the discs in there. It can hold up to 12 of them if you happen to have 12. I don't, I have 8. And honestly, I know a bunch of people right now are about to say, Walcom, you should make, stop it, stop, no, I'm already working on it. That being said, if you watch this far into the video and you have some of these, for the love of God, please send me them because I need them. I need as many of these as I can get my hands on. It's for science. You would be doing the world a lot of good. It's got some buttons right here, power, and then the height change selection. It's got 3 LEDs right there and a big, huge infrared thing on there. And it's full of a bunch of switches. Like, it has this switch on the bottom that's like, so you can't like pick it up and hold it and shoot it off at someone. You're not fooling anyone. It's just a button I can hold down with my hand. I was already gonna put my hand there, so good job with that one. It's also got a button under the spring-loaded arm that will tell it when it's empty, and that's about it, except for the kind of spring-loaded tab up here, which allows you to easily change the direction this thing is shooting. So if you want to shoot left, right, or straight up, and then it will click down and hold into place, so it's out of the way, I guess. This may be slightly over-engineered. I'm not quite certain yet. And speaking of discs, here's one of the discs. And these things are really, really nice. This is like the coolest ammo type I've ever seen from Nerf. It's like the size of a small Frisbee, and it's about aerodynamic as one too. They're really lightweight, really nice. They have this like thin plastic laminate on them that holds them together. Very, very sturdy and awesome. Would make an excellent coaster. However, these are for obviously the disc shot target itself. And I have 8 of them here, and they're all in relatively good condition. One of them has some dog marks on it. This one has been dog attacked, but relatively good, and they stack up fairly well, and they're very easy to load into the disc shot itself. You just pull the arm back, put those in there, and that was just the thing I was about to demonstrate, is that if you do something like that, as in break this thing off like a dummy, well, they thought ahead, and they made it so it's actually just removable. It's like a spring-loaded tab. You just pop it back in there. It's good to go. Works perfectly fine, and since it has pressure on them, the discs don't fall out. I mean, they might with a lot of them in there and you really bump it, but it works pretty good. That obviously feeds them into it, technically making it a disc magazine. So it's magazine fed. Not removable magazine, but magazine fed. Does that mean I can make clips for the discs to feed them into the magazine? Again, for science. But none of that would matter if the thing didn't actually work. And trust me, when I first got this thing, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to make it work without the remote. And honestly, I still don't think it would be that hard. However, the entire point of the thing is to have the remote, and the entire point of Tag Back is for me to be able to demonstrate the blaster with all of its features. Thus, I needed to get my hands on one of these things. It is just a plastic shell that takes 2 AAA batteries, and it has a button right here and an infrared thing right there and some kind of iron sight. It looks really cool. Put it on this blaster right here. I mean, it looks pretty freaking awesome. You just press the button and it will count down from 3, 2, 1, and then launch a disc, and then you shoot it out of the air. And you're supposed to use the sticky darts, so the darts will stick to the target, and that's why the targets are coated in like a laminate thing, and it's cool. In all things considered, it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen from Hasbro. It is so much fun. The discs have a good amount of height to them. I mean, they could fly up like almost 10, 11 feet in the air. Straight up, not bad in my opinion. And it's loud. The kids like loud things, and it's fun. So what exactly is the problem with it? And well, obviously the problem with it is the fact that the thing did the remote. There's no like actual button on the thing to fire them manually if you want to, which I think is a big oversight. Although again, it would not be hard to interrupt the infrared thing with, you know, a button, because it's basically a button that just works when it receives the signal. That's it. So honestly, wouldn't be that hard. And even if you look at the actual mechanism in the back, all that really pushes the next disc in is what it does is it has a disc that, it has an arm that like just kind of rolls down and then springs up. That's it. So that's how it pushes it into the flywheels and launches the disc up. Not a hard thing to just control with a trigger like a rev trigger. In fact, you could, I'm gonna weaponize this thing. If you're this far into the video and you haven't figured that out yet, it's getting weaponized. I need more discs. So for the love of God, if you find one of these at a Goodwill and you have no idea what it is important. They sell for Not a terrible sum, because it's just a thing that's useless without having the actual target. The targets turn up pretty often, the discs show up pretty often. This thing, not so much. Usually if you find the target, it's missing this and vice versa. And the elements show up, honestly, I'd say pretty often, but this is the only one I've ever found. So I guess all of it's pretty uncommon. I'm not quite sure. Let me know down in the comment section of this thing if you find these things all the time, and it's just, you know, my area that I've been thrifting in for the past couple of years, because I don't know. And what about the element itself? Well, it has a 5-dart little capacity thing down there, 1 dart in there, pull it back like that, you fire it, it's not bad. It's end strike velocity. 30, 35 feet, 40 FPS, 45 F. It's a little bit better than a Jolt. It's a bit bigger than a Jolt, but again, since it's pretty much like a Night Finder, these things can take a pretty capable spring upgrade. These things can be tuned up to 11, and really every time I see this thing, besides seeing basically the switch shot from the Wii game, I see the SOCOM MK23 from Metal Gear for some reason. It just needs a suppressor on the end of it, which I'm 100% certain somebody has done in the past. I cannot be the only one that's thought that. In fact, I refuse to believe that I would be the only one that would ever think of that, because it's just, you slap a suppressor on it, it's Metal Gear. Now, what would be the practical application of weaponizing the target shot itself? Nothing. Looks cool. Fires a big round that's relatively hard to dodge, I would say, because it's big and it's flat, kind of like a gigantic vortex disc. You could definitely throw them probably farther, unless you can upgrade the wheels and stuff in it and overvolt the motors and stuff. I'm just saying, I was just saying. And it's quick to reload. I mean, honestly, there's a lot to like about this target thing in terms of actually weaponizing it for a Nerf war. Now, the blaster itself, again, pretty moddable. This thing, as rare as it is to get this thing working, I don't think it's required. I'm pretty sure you can easily make this thing work without this. However, most of you don't open up blasters or know a lot about electronics. I myself don't know very much about electronics, so I'm speaking for somebody else here, but it's a nice little setup, and if you can find the pieces to get one, I think just about every Nerfer would want something like this, because it is ridiculously fun. Noisy, but ridiculously fun, and for the actual shooting of the targets out of the air, it is a lot harder than it looks. Like, no fooling, these things are actually hard to hit out of the air. It is not easy. The darts from this blaster are slower than the discs coming out of the freaking thing. And if you stand farther back, it's even harder. Now, if you're only like 10 feet away, yeah, you'll hit it pretty much every single time. But if you're standing farther away, whew, even if you had like a Caliburn, I think you'd get a good amount of practice in with this thing. And it's Nerf skeet shooting, basically, but it's automatic. You can do it with one person. You just hit the button on the remote and it launches us up. It is infrared, of course, so there is kind of an angle and a range limitation, especially if you're outside, but it works pretty decently well, all things considered. Let me know what you think about the disc target shooter down in the comments section below. I'm interested to hear if you guys have any ideas. If you guys have seen one of these modified, I looked all over and couldn't. And let me know if you think these are like the remotes, like if you have one of those, because many people might actually have one. I have no idea what it's for, and I'm interested to see how many of that, but yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.